Hi everyone, it's Mike from CMS Critic. I'm here in Paris today at the Jahia offices, and I'm going to be chatting with Emmanuel Garcin of Jahia.
Hello everyone.
Thanks for having me, by the way.
And thank you for coming.
Yeah, it's been a pleasant experience here visiting Paris again. Last year, CMS Critic was in attendance for JahiaOne 2014. This year, apparently the conference is going to be bigger, badder, and more fierce. So we're looking forward to covering that again. That's going to be coming up later this week.
Yeah.
But for now, I thought we would chat a little bit about what's happening with Jahia, get caught up, and fill in our readers on what's happening within the company. And there's been a lot of different changes, some new faces coming on board. So perhaps we can start off there. You've brought on a new marketing.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we actually hired Chris Justice, and he's a perfect shoe-in with our culture. He's coming from Magnolia, and he's already giving great inputs into our strategy for marketing. He's going to handle all the marketing activities in the US and in the rest of the world, and he's currently building his team. So we're very excited, and we were very lucky to be able to find Chris that quickly. So now our plan is in motion, and Chris is also working with Kevin Cochrane, who's at our board, and we're also very honored to be working with Kevin, because although he's not an executive in the company, he provides great inputs at the board level, and he started already. We had a board meeting in San Francisco a few weeks ago, and he was already hands-on on the messaging part.
Yeah, it's interesting because it's two names that have been within the CMS industry for quite some time. So bringing him on board, I think it's a good step to bring in some fresh faces, get some new perspective on the industry and the marketplace, and figure out what direction you want to take the company. Yeah. Now, since last year's JahiaOne, I mean, Home Away was one of the big sellers when they were on stage talking about how there's nothing you can't do with Jahia. What do you guys have planned for this year? What can people look forward to?
So first of all, I'm expecting, and we're all expecting everyone to come and see JahiaOne. If they cannot be on site, there's going to be videos of the conference. So I'm not going to reveal too much about the conference itself, but what I can tell you is that this year again we have great US customer coming to Europe, and sophisticated implementation of European customers. Since last year, we've won accounts such as Samsung. We have a huge implementation in the US that deals with all of the point of sales for Samsung devices. So we're very proud of that. This is a big implementation, and we've won, important names such as Upromise in the US, and very large European accounts again. So these accounts are going to be able to share their experience at the conference. And again, I'm not going to tell you what they are going to say because I don't even know.
No, and really, we don't want you to know in this interview because you're going to be able to stay tuned on CMS Critic on our Twitter account, which is twitter.com/CMScritic, and we'll be live tweeting from the event. So if you want to follow up on what's happening and you can't make it, there'll be videos that we'll be sharing. We'll be doing conference roundups. There'll be live tweeting. There'll be stuff on our Facebook page, Google Plus page. You can follow Jahia as well, obviously, and you can get all the information you need to there. So stay tuned for that. You recently also had an injection, a fairly significant one from...
oh, did you notice that?
An investment one,
okay.
Yeah. Perhaps this building might have something to do with that, who knows, but...
Perhaps.
Maybe we could talk a little bit about that.
Absolutely.
How that came about.
Yeah. So first of all, what happened is that, as we actually discussed last year, what was and is still key with Jahia is that we have focused on technology convergence since our inception, and this technology convergence is now captured by Gartner, and that's why Gartner is coming again this year. It's called the UXP.
Yeah.
This UXP is actually what company needs for their digital transformation. And explaining what digital transformation is another story, and it's really current to every businesses, no matter what type of businesses, have to go through right now. And because of the way we deliver the tools for this digital transformation and our ability to work with very large and sophisticated customers, even at a very small size, is what attracted investors. So if I want to give you a long story into just a few sentences, I would say that we want to stay true to our values and our original vision in terms of product, but of course we want to expand the products. So we want to, for instance, lead the standardization of WEM. Everybody talks about WEM. It's been 5 years. So there's been tons of actors coming, doing marketing and providing, extraordinary amount of marketing tools that CMOs have to deal with. They can't keep up with the pace, so it's time to standardize. And we provide the thought leadership to standardize on these tools, and that's why our CTO has been elected co-chair of the standard, and we're going to push a project at the Apache Foundation. So we first want to lead the charge with standardization of WEM, not only because technology has to be simpler, better, and everybody has to talk the same language, but also because these business users are struggling with the amount of tools they have to deal with. That's what we heard in a conference just 2 weeks ago. That's what the #1 pain of customers. So we focus on solving this #1 pain of customers. That's what we're going to do with the investment. We're also going to focus on making WEM ethical and transparent. So we want to give the ability to our customers, to them in turn give the ability to their customers, the visitors of their sites, to cherry pick what they want to share and not to share with these organizations. Because right now, as you know, the privacy debate is very hot. You heard Tim Cook, running into Google and Facebook about their model capturing data of users illegally, and we want to give the choice to our customers to be transparent or not. So that's very important. Now, of course, in terms of operations, the funding is also a way for us to go much more aggressively at our main market. So our main markets are still North America, EMEA. So that's why we're ramping up, these markets. And we fleshed out also a full indirect team led by Piyush Patel to keep on working as a software vendors with the partners for the customer.
Now, one of the things that's actually, so it's interesting that you brought up all the different privacy issues and the way that there's so many different tools that people are working with. One of the big things that I'm seeing within the industry anyway is there's a focus on the suited approach where it's, you get the CMS, you get the marketing suite, you get the analytics, you get all these different components, email marketing platform all built into one. There's the vendors that are going down that route, the Adobes and all the other guys. And then there's the ones that are focusing on what they've traditionally been successful at. And part of what I think is making those vendors, giving them an advantage, is they're not trying to reinvent stuff that's already been invested in significantly. For instance, there's no point in my mind of trying to develop an analytics platform when Google Analytics is in the market.
You're absolutely right.
Millions of dollars that they're investing in these tools, and the same thing applies to the marketing suite. So, what's your take on
You're absolutely right. Yeah.
On the suited approach, and where are you guys going with that?
You're absolutely right. What we're trying to solve, the problem we're trying to solve, again, is the problem of the usually marketers, but business users in general, that they have to deal with a variety of systems in the front that are, this what Gartner calls this system of innovation that move very quickly, but there's just a plethoric amount of them, right? And on the back end, they have to deal with mission critical, secure, slow-moving systems, such as your SAP system, right. And it always introduces a difference in the pace of how to manage the system, which is when usually IT and business clash, right? So we want to solve this problem, And to do that, we're never going to have a suite approach such as Adobe that really focuses on digital marketing. We want to be the hub to handle the front end and the back end. It's very simple, but it doesn't mean we're doing everything. So for instance, Marketing Factory is, as you will see during the conference, is very sophisticated, but it doesn't imply that you have to remove everything you bought, put it through the trash, and migrate to Marketing Factory. Marketing Factory can be used and is meant to be used as a hub of your existing marketing data. Similarly with commerce, we're going to provide a commerce solution that tries to solve several problems for the business people. So again, the CMO is leading this charge, but any business people, even the CEO is trying to solve this. We want to cut the cost of delivering products, right? It's very simple. E-commerce does that. You cut the middleman. But today, what's really difficult for these brands that want to control what they're doing without, and they don't want to rely on Silicon Valley vendors such as Amazon or Facebook for social and things like that. They want to build their own digital environment, right? Yeah. So they want to own their marketplace. That's part of their brand. And to deploy marketplaces that are fully integrated with their website, that's Commerce Factory. Now, of course, we know that many of our customers have implementations such as Hybris or Elastic Path. That's perfectly fine. We will integrate these tools. But again, we want to provide a reference implementation that solves a very specific issue, which is the marketplace, which again, it's a tool to extend the brand. But so in addition of commerce capabilities, we provide the perfect platform to put together a marketplace. So that's what we're trying to do. We're not providing a suite, to answer your first question. Right. The suite is like doing only marketing, which we're trying to showcase technologies that we think need commoditization, that needs standardization. Yeah. So again, we are not the first to provide WEM capabilities. We are not the first. We want to do it the right way. We want to standardize, and we want to aggregate what's existing. Because at the end, again, our goal is to unify the experience for the marketer who's having to deal with all of these mess.
Well, one of the things that seems to be shifting a little bit too is you have the standard way used to be you'd come into work in the morning, the typical marketer or whomever might be using these tools like the CMS. Right? Yep. They'd come in the morning, they might launch their email, they might launch all these different applications. Now it's almost getting to the point where the CMS is somewhat of an operating system.
Yep.
And where they spend 95% of their time within the CMS, they're dealing with all their notifications and their workflows, yep. And all the work that they do is just integrated directly into it. So it's kind of an all-in-one solution, but at the yep. same time, you have to be able to adapt to all the various different tools that are out there, right?
You're not going to replace, $1 billion of investments in other technologies.
Exactly. You're not going to build a CRM and replace Salesforce.
Yeah.
Companies that are heavily invested in it. So that's good to see that you're starting to take that approach. What do you see as sort of the next evolution for Jahia? I mean, obviously that's difficult to say with the way things are changing constantly. Mm-hmm. But what do you guys? Where are you angling yourself?
So, I think that first of all, in terms of product, we already have today, a product that is extremely strong and that is leveraged by sophisticated customer to handle critical websites today. So we already have that today. Because I like to talk about the future, but our customers, they want something that works today. Now, of course, there are things that we've been doing a little bit since years, like for instance, the cloud. We have customers already on the cloud. NGA is going to talk about their experience on the cloud. Ben & Jerry's has been on the cloud forever. We have customers in the US leveraging Amazon for their deployment, but we want to put together a full PaaS solution. So we're going to talk about that during JahiaOne, so I'm not going to tell you too much, but we're working very closely with Amazon on these initiatives. So that's very important. Now, we also, and that's part of our new indirect strategy that Piyush Patel is going to explain during the conference, is we want to work with preferred vendors to provide, showcase implementations of integration with technologies, because again, we're not trying to do everything. When someone is looking for sophisticated and complementary feature in terms of DAM, for instance, we want to integrate with the right vendor. And by doing so, what we're doing with our customers is saying, look, this is how it's done when it's well done, and we have complicity with this vendor. Look at how it's fully integrated,
right.
And you don't have to suffer through the consequence of a complex implementation. Now, you have your existing DAM, we can do it the same, because at its core, Jahia has the studio, the private app store, and is the best tool on the market to provide these integrations in the first place. But we want to showcase them so that our customers can really understand how it's done when it's done well.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well said.